Hello, and a very warm welcome to Project U. The whole idea behind what we do here is pretty simple, actually. Small steps, big change.
Today, we're going to dive into something that, let's be honest, touches almost all of us at some point. What do you do when you feel completely lost? And more importantly, how do you start navigating your way back to feeling okay again?
I mean, have you ever really felt that? That sinking feeling of being stuck in a hole where everything just feels heavy, and maybe you find yourself just trying to get through the day, trying to escape your own reality.
Well, if that sounds familiar, the first and maybe the most important thing I want you to hear today is this. You are absolutely 100% not alone. This is a shared human experience, probably now more than ever.
You know, this feeling is so incredibly common that it's become a kind of shared struggle. And just acknowledging that, just really letting it sink in that you're part of this huge, often silent group of people, that right there is the very first step to climbing out.
So check this out. This quote might look simple, but the story behind it is what's so telling. During the live Q&A for a platform for freelancers, the host was expecting questions about business, how to get clients, stuff like that. But he was shocked. The questions flooding in were all about their mental state, people feeling desperate, frustrated, and just unable to keep going. It's like this quiet crisis happening right under the surface for so many of us.
And this leads us to a really critical point. If we ever want to get out of that hole, we've got to understand that the real battle, it isn't with the world outside of us. It's with the world inside of us.
It's so easy to think, oh, if I just had more money, or if I just got that promotion, then I'd be happy. But real lasting well-being, it's not tied to any of that external stuff. It's all governed by our internal state, our mindset, the way we talk to ourselves, our sense of connection. I mean, you can be a millionaire and be completely miserable, or have very little and feel totally content. The real work is always an inside job.
And this quote just powerfully illustrates that internal battle. This was said by someone who, from the outside looking in, is incredibly successful. But because he has such high ambitions, he's constantly feeling this huge gap between where he is and where he thinks he should be. And this creates this vortex of self-criticism where it doesn't matter what he achieves, that feeling of failure just lingers.
Okay, so if the battle is internal, how in the world do we start fighting it? And more importantly, how do we start winning it? Well, let's break down a super simple 3-step action plan that you can literally start using today.
All right, here's our roadmap. It all starts with just being honest about where you are. Step 1. Then, step 2 is about digging a little deeper to figure out what's really causing the problem. And finally, step 3, and this is according to the source material we're looking at today, the path to real peace involves connecting with a higher power.
Okay, so let's unpack those first 2 steps. Acknowledging just means you stop saying, I'm fine, when you're not. You stop blaming your job or your city or anything else outside of you. The problem is internal. Now, to identify the root cause, start journaling. Just write. Get all of your thoughts and feelings out on paper until you can finally put a finger on the real issue. And here's a great exercise. Try to describe your ideal normal workday. Not a fantasy vacation on a beach, but a better version of your everyday life. This little exercise can be incredibly revealing about what's actually making you unhappy.
And that brings us to that crucial 3rd step, which our source material presents as the ultimate solution, seeking a spiritual connection. The idea here is that a poor mental state can often come from a sense of distance from God, and that the most direct path back to peace is through prayer, reading scripture, and just humble supplication.
Now, even though the real work is internal, let's be real. Our external environment has a massive impact on our inner world. So the next big step is to intentionally, deliberately curate the world around you.
And that means actively avoiding certain things. Our source calls social media an envy machine. And isn't that the truth? It's basically designed to make you feel like you're not enough by constantly showing you what you don't have. You've also got to start distancing yourself from so-called friends who pull you down or laugh at your dreams, and get out of environments that are just draining your energy.
And on the flip side, you want to actively embrace positivity. Surround yourself with people who get it, who believe in you, who share your goals, and, this is important, take on the responsibility of being a positive force yourself. In a world where so many people are struggling, just being a shining lamp for others, with a simple smile or a kind word, can make a huge difference, not just for them, but for you too.
And if you ever for a second doubt how much your environment matters, Just look at this. The speaker here was saying that out of 100 comments on one of his videos, 98 will be positive and encouraging, but his mind will latch onto the 2 negative ones. That's just human nature. Our brains are literally wired to focus on the negative, which is exactly why we have to be so intentional about what we let into our lives.
So, this all brings us right back to our core philosophy here. This journey isn't about some dramatic overnight fix. It's about adopting a mindset for a lifelong journey of slow, steady improvement. Please remember this. You are not required to solve everything by tomorrow. The only thing you need to do is be 1 inch, just 1 tiny inch, better today than you were yesterday. Those consistent, small steps forward, they're so much more powerful than just standing still, waiting for the perfect moment, or trying to make some giant leap that you just can't sustain. Now, this leads to a really profound idea for how to deal with anxiety about the future. It's this idea of working at the causes, not by the causes. What does that mean? It means we are required to make the effort. That's our job. We have to plant the seed. But the result, the actual growth of that seed, that comes from a higher power. So your only job is to do the work and then let go of the anxiety about the result.
And finally, I want to leave you with this powerful message of hope. This is a Quranic verse that promises that hardship never, ever comes alone. It always arrives with ease right alongside it. So if you are in a difficult time right now, please take comfort in knowing that ease is already on its way. This too shall pass.
So, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Forget about tomorrow. Forget about next week. What is just one small step, one tiny inch of progress that you can take today to start building a stronger, healthier inner world?
Thank you so much for spending this time with me. This is Project You, where we truly believe that consistent, small steps always lead to big change.
If any of this resonated with you, it would mean the world if you'd like this explainer and subscribe to Project You. We're building a community here of people dedicated to growing together, one small step at a time. I'll see you in the next one.